before we get to Andre, I want to hear from Victor, who you might remember from a few months back. He just ran a very exciting campaign for a city councilor in Brazil, in a city called Natal. And so we're going to talk to him again. He ran on the PSOL line with the PSOL party, along with many other candidates across the country. But before we get into the specifics about his campaign, I want to know a little bit more about the general situation in Brazil. So Victor, can you talk about what's going on in Brazil right now, the strengthening of the traditional right wing? We have the Workers' Party there called PT, which is in crisis. And what does this mean for the working class and for activists in Brazil right now?
Here in Brazil, we're having such different elections this year. Of course, we have the defeat in some aspects of Bolsonaro's candidates, a certain or relative strengthening of the traditional right wing, and we had also the crisis of PT being manifested in these elections, and great opportunities to be solved in this scenario. For example, if we consider the 59 candidates that Bolsonaro explicitly supported this year, he only managed to elect 13. There are two mayors of city in the countryside and 11 city councilors. In Rio, if we consider even Crivella, he has bad rates in the second round until today. And if we talk about Bolsonaro in São Paulo, has been banished from the second round. So Bolsonaro former party, PSL, became too small in these elections again, totally different from 2018. If we talk about the traditional right wing, at some point we check, we're getting a relative growth of this, but they're not even close to what they have, to what they had when we are talking about a PT governments some years ago. They grow a little bit, but it's not even close to what they had. So we cannot talk about this growth of the traditional right wing as something really concrete here in Brazil. Of course, they are old electoral machines based on patronage, colonialism, and vote buying. So that's why they have more votes every elections. However, we cannot consider as a meaningful growth of the right-wing parties, considering their historical numbers. In these elections, PT did not recover from the collapse experienced last years. In spite of being of the parties with strong capillarity throughout the country, PT fell from 256 city halls won in 2016 to 178 in these elections. When we talk about PSOL and our participation in these elections, we grew in a huge numbers of councillors from 53 to 88 in great cities, in large cities here in Brazil. In Rio de Janeiro, for example, PSOL elected 7 councillors and tripled its number in São Paulo. About 40% of these participations of these victories were women, and 48% were Black people. So also elected 4 trans women in city councils, the first 2 trans councillors in capitals belonging to our party. So it's clear that we have great opportunities to a socialist movement, especially linked to the oppressive struggles in our country and these elections and in the future struggles we have to build in next years.